Hello and welcome to the final day of the 2026 iQFoil European Championships here in sunny Portimao, Portugal. My name's Rafty Reed and I'm joined in the booth here with a very special guest. Sammy Costin, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, we're back again. Almost, has it been 6 months since the last Euros?
6 months?
Yeah, November
Quick
last
maths.
year, 2025. So it's been
6 months already.
6 months.
God blimey, it's like it was yesterday. So much fun.
I know. I almost said the wrong location before. I was waiting for you to say Sicily, but here we are in Portugal.
Yeah, right on. And you have been racing it out here this week, haven't you?
Yes, another week for me on the board. Yeah, it's been a super interesting week. We've had a range of conditions. We've had a pretty good series with the racing, actually. We've done well. We only missed 1 day due to a lack of wind. The race committee's worked hard to get us out there and get us racing, and we've kind of made it across all the formats and all the different race courses. So that's been great to see and great to do, I guess.
Yeah, right on. We have been watching each and every day so far. We've had the live stream for the past 2 days, but all the updates on the social medias, on the website throughout this week. So if you've missed any of the action, make sure you rewind, watch the live streams from the previous days, and also check out the websites, check out all the social medias to see exactly what happened to lead up to this moment. But we are here in Portimao in Portugal, and this really is it's probably one of the best locations we've had so far with iQFoil competitions, isn't it?
Yeah, so we had the under-23 World. Water outside of on the board, and so that's been really good. Yeah,
epic. It has just been dreamy. I haven't actually managed to get on the water so far this week, but I am very much looking forward to it. Maybe a bit later go for a surf, and the next day is a little bit of wingfoiling, maybe a bit of windsurfing as well. But on our screens at the minute we are seeing a lot of surfers, aren't we?
Yeah, so we've basically got a shore break right in front of the boat park. And yeah, there's just people surfing there pretty much all day, every day. So yeah, great to watch. Not so great when you have to kind of cut out through them a little bit to get down to the other race course, but that's okay. But yeah, there's some absolute weapons out there.
Look at the dude shredding the nard, steezing it out. Come on. They've got a front row view to this iQFoil medal series, though. The whole week has led up to this moment where we will be seeing who will be crowned our 2026 European champions. On our screens at the minute, we have the quarterfinalists who have made it inside of this quarterfinal. Finn's on there, Tom's on there, Nicholas Gord is on there. But with that, let's have a look how they managed to get to this point, and let's have a look at some of the highlights from the previous days. It's day number 5 of the 2026 iQFoil European Championships here in Portimao, and the pressure is on as it's the final day before those medal races tomorrow. So let's have a chat with some of the people who are on the edge.
My goal, of course, is being in those finals. I'm just excited. I think just being in this position is super nice for me. Like, it has been a really long time not being there in an international competition. So yeah, I'm just excited to go.
Yeah, well, it's quite important that I make all the races today good, which is obviously very difficult. So I'm a bit nervous about having to execute that, but I'm excited for the opportunity to move up the fleet and get into a better position.
The wind was tricky at the start of the day, but soon enough we got going with some downwind slalom. slalom races were completed for the women and 2 for the men, but then the wind really picked up, so the decision was taken to change the format from slalom to course racing, of which 1 race was completed for the men. That was all the wind could give us looking in the top 10 riders for the medal series. In the men, the top 4 remains unchanged, with Luke van Opsieland and Gray Morris going straight into the grand final, with Johan So and Federico Poloni going into the semi-final. Performing well today was Nicolas Goyard, who started the day in 11th and finishes inside of the qualifying positions.
I think one of the worst weeks for me since 2 years, but yeah, I managed to get back in the top 6. But for tomorrow is just to win it, of course. I mean, I think I can really do it.
Making it in on the last call, Leonardo Tomasini. Thanks to winning the course race today, he makes it into 9th place.
It was my aim to be in the medal race. I didn't do very well in the 2 slalom, so the first course, the 3rd race was very important for me.
Completing the quarter-final for tomorrow in 10th is Finn Hawkins. In the women's fleet, Tamar Steinberg and Amy Bright go straight into the grand final, while this semi-final will see Wenxi Li and Zheng Yan there. The big story in the women's, however, Daniela Peleg, the reigning European champion, was out of the medal races this morning, but thanks to 2 billets and a 2nd place today, she will get a chance to defend her title tomorrow.
I was really nervous before the day because I really wanted to do races because I started the day outside of the medal race. I'm excited that I have the chance to defend my title.
And finally making it in, thanks to being super consistent today, Pilar Lamadrid.
I'm back into the finals. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Really, for me, the job is more than done for now. So, yeah, just happy. Let's pray for some win for tomorrow.
The stage is set for tomorrow, where we will be seeing who will be crowned our new European champions. Let's press forward to tomorrow. And we are certainly on with the quarterfinal straight up in the house here in Portimao for the men's. Straight up and straight away in the lead up that top end. It's looking like Leonardo Tomasini has had a good start.
Yeah, so in this race, we've got boards ranked 6th to 10th in the medal series. So as we can see at the moment, we've got Finn Hawkins down. He started off the pin. They start with a reach start for this course format. I believe it is an reach, downwind, upwind, downwind, upwind. How many laps are we doing?
Two laps upwind we are doing. So they're now making their way on their first downwind. Finn Hawkins has definitely taken an early lead and jibed off a lot earlier than the rest of the pack there. But he's riding that wave. It's quite wavy out here, hasn't it been, Sammy?
Yeah, it's interesting wave state out there today. So as you can see, there's quite a long period between the waves, but they are actually quite big. So they're really helpful on the downwind because you can use them to drive the board for depth. But if you mismanage how you use those, you could struggle with speed. And in this class, speed is critical. So Finn's done a really good job to make sure that he caught that wave on the exit of the jibe to accelerate. Yeah, the boys have had, it's quite a tough one because the AP today was only a 15-minute delay. So basically what that means is the sailors are on shore, a flag is hoisted, and that tells them that they can go out on water and that in 15 minutes their race will start. So usually before that you'd spend the time reading the course, seeing where the wind is, but today they've had a really quick turnaround. So these guys will be thinking on their feet and really trying to get the separation. Because it's such a small group racing today, they're racing each other, but they're also trying to use the course to really get a leg up.
Certainly, and who has got the leg up at the minute is Tom Arnoux. He rounded that gate in first place, but the battle is certainly on. Leonardo Tomasini on the far left of our screens now has got a very good first little leg of his upwind. He's been pumping extremely hard and he's gained a lot of ground on Tom Arnoux there. A lot of angle, but as he got the speed, we can't quite see at this angle, but you know, I think it is Leo and Tom that have certainly got the lead in this race so far.
Yeah, so as you can see, everyone is heading out to the left-hand side of the course from the gate, so the downwind gate. And what we've found this week in racing is that the shoreline has really been paying with regards to the angle of the wind, but also the strength of the wind. The wind today is on the lighter side, as you can see here. You've got to be really careful that you do your maneuvers in pressure, and that you're managing those gusts and you're really keeping your eyes open for that wind. Otherwise, as we saw before, you could fall off the foil, you could lose some speed, and you just kind of lose that edge on your competitors.
Exactly, we did see at that tacking point for a lot of those riders. Unfortunately, Leonardo Tomasini just dropping off the foil there and losing a lot of speed and opening up the gap for the rest of those riders there. The wind is pretty light out there. We heard around 8 knots of wind, so it's on that lighter side, but still these riders are flying high and flying fast. On our screens at the minute, Tom Arnoux, France 152, cranking it out onto the right side of the course. We're racing right close next to the beach in a minute. All those spectators, we got one of those ribs on there, all spectating this race as exactly as it happens. Now, not only are they watching, you guys are also watching in, so make sure you all tune in, share this link around to spread the stoke, and let's see who becomes our European champions. Currently on our screens, we have the men's quarterfinal. Now remember, it is only the top 2 that make it through to that semi-final. Doesn't matter where, if we're inside of that top 2, whether you're first, whether you're second, you just need to be inside. And someone that has really come through, Tom Ruveny.
Yeah, so with this format, the medal series really adds in a flavour of pressure. It pretty much kind of equals the playing field on the last day. So everyone comes into this, and it's kind of a battle to progress to the next round. It gives the person in 10th a chance to podium, but it also gives the guys that performed throughout the regatta the opportunity to defend the position that they're in. So we've just watched the guys do the upwind leg there, so that's probably the most tactical and physically demanding leg of the course, and they're now going downwind. So here they're really trying to get speed and depth and kind of cover as much distance as possible, as quickly as possible, to get down to the bottom.
Certainly down to that bottom, but I did make a mistake just previously there. Tom Ruveny is actually in the semi-final. It is Yoav Omer who is leading this race so far. Tom Arnoux maybe has taken the lead back off of Yoav there. Is Israel 24, but where is that bottom gate? Now remember, it's still only the top 2 that make it through, so Yoav Omer will just be trying to defend, and defending he does. He's pumping it out back to Tom Ruveny, who's looking like, according to that score, that leaderboard, is leading this race. But it's so close, isn't it, Sammy? You know, things can change so fast.
Absolutely. Like, the level of technique and finesse required to sail these boards in these conditions is super high. So one small mistake, one little whoopsie, could really bring someone back into contention. Like a mismanaged jibe, a clip of the wave. Like, as we can see from this angle here, the swell's kind of going side onto him. Here we go. So he's rounding this bottom gate now, and he'll reach to the finish. So we're just following Tom Arnoux now. So that was a pretty good race for him. Him and Yoav, that was pretty clean for them. It is really tough conditions out there. It's hard to see how windy it is on camera, but I can promise you it is not windy at all. So those guys have done a fantastic job in being able to do an upwind component and a downwind component in this race.
Certainly is a show of expertise. Yoav Omer has qualified with his fist up in the air, and Tom Arnoux also slapping his leg. He is just as happy as Yoav Omer in those top 2 spots. They qualify into that semi-final, and then in 3rd place we have Leonardo Tomasini, just missing out on that semi-final spot, but an amazing competition from him there.
He's done spectacularly, and he's so young as well. He should be super proud of himself, honestly, and that was such a solid effort there. Unfortunately, he did have a slightly slow tack in there, which did cost him a bit. But honestly, like, he's done so well this regatta, and he did so well today. He should be super proud.
Incredible stuff. Leonardo Tomasini finishing overall in 8th place. Having a great competition. He achieved his goal of getting into that medal race series. Finn Hawkins coming through the line now. He ends his competition in 9th place overall. Top 10 in Europe. An incredible result yet again from him.
Phenomenal. And Finn's had a great year. He's had a great 12 months. And yeah, he had a great beginning to the regatta as well. I've just said great multiple times there, but we have so many talented sailors in this fleet. Even though this is the European Championships, we have a ton of countries represented that aren't from Europe. And it's just because the quality of fleet here is just phenomenal. And if everyone wants to take any opportunity they can to simulate the racing that we get at World Championships. And that's the level of the fleet here. You've got to make the most of it, and Finn's done a really good job. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for you, and yeah, like, he should be super proud. Everyone in this medal race should be super proud. These guys have outperformed hundreds of competitors this week in extremely tough conditions, and yeah, they've had really consistent and strong skills all week.
It's been incredible to watch. Not only today, we've just completed that quarterfinal, but also on those previous days. We have racing it out here at the European Championships, 75 women and 117 men. But remember, it is medal race day. Only the top 10 are racing it out today to battle for that European Championship title. Now, we did just see that quarterfinal of the men. It was really exciting, but what we did see, it is pretty light winds out there. It was very, very tough, as Sammy mentioned. You know, Leonardo Tomasini doing very well, but just dropping off the foil. That allowed for Yoav and Tom to come through and take those top 2 spots. Let's have a look at the highlight of that race there. So it started off with a great start down that bottom end. Finn Hawkins really went for it, having a very good start to his race there. Leading out on that first mark, it was Nicholas Goyard and Tom Arnaud just out the back, but they kept it all the way to the end.
Yeah, looking back at the start, it's amazing to see how much the positions can change over the duration of the race. Finn had a spectacular start, a really strong reach there. He rounded the first mark ahead. Really controlled the race in that first little bit. But there's just so many variables out there that, you know, and there's so many people to control. Yeah, it's all to play for in these races. But yeah, as you can see there, the guys are stoked to finish. I can guarantee you that their heart rates would have been through the absolute roof. So they're probably taking some time to rest now. And we'll jump to the women's quarterfinal. And then we'll bounce back to the men's semi, which will be really good. But yeah, you could kind of see in this view, like, the streakiness on the water. That just shows the difference.
Bosh.
There we go. The difference in kind of wind strength across the course. Like, you could be within 10 meters of someone else and they could be in a completely different wind than you, which is kind of tilting to sail with, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it's just that ability to keep calm and carry on, and really just execute what you need to do well, that pays off. So we can see here the women just in the start area. During the men's races, you could kind of see them in the background collecting data on the race course. They would have been paying attention to what was going on in that quarterfinal for the men's to try and get some takeaways to give them information for their race coming up, to kind of get a little edge on their competitors.
Certainly so. The edge on the competitors is all these riders out here are wanting. They're going for every single little gap possible, making gaps for themselves and leaving no room for error and no room for their competitors to take and gain on them and maybe overtake. So remember, it is quarterfinals time. Only the top 2 make it through to that semi-final. Doesn't matter where inside of that top 2, they just have to do it. Now, it is places 6 to 10 that are racing it out here. They're battling for that semi-final spots, aren't they?
Yeah, so we're just watching the girls now. So they're in the start sequence. So basically they have a 3-minute start sequence. before the race starts. And the goal of that is to position themselves the best that they can, that they'll hit that start line at go and at max pace and bow ahead of those around them. So yeah, with just this view here, you could see the swell just rolling across the course. Now, the course area has actually been put up underneath the harbour wall, which is where everyone exits from when they leave the boat park. So it is kind of messy there. And I can confirm it's extremely gusty there as well. But it is something that the race committee's had to do just because the wind is on the lighter side today. So they've been working hard to make sure that we have the conditions. And yeah, literally to the right-hand side of this shot here, you've got the shore breakers where everyone's surfing. Okay, so we've got the girls approaching now. So they'll be slowing up and speeding up to try and get everything set up.
Up this top end, it is pretty windy, isn't it? I think it's really interesting, this spot here, because right close to the beach, it feels like it's absolutely nuking. And as we can see, where this start is, it's pretty windy indeed. But from that previous quarterfinal of the men, we saw as they make their way out to the sea and down the course, the wind starts to drop off a little.
Yeah, so this top end, so where the reach is and where the start is, the wind is quite volatile. You've got, it can be extremely windy, it can be soft. And yeah, as you said, as they progress down the course, the wind strength does decrease, which makes foiling harder, which makes maneuvers harder, and basically with settings, it's a hard one to navigate, making sure that you have the right settings in order that you'll be able to survive the light wind at the bottom and still be able to perform, but you'll also be able to sail quickly and in control at the top of the race course, particularly on that reach. And it is still, we did see Finn have an amazing start in that race before and unfortunately not make it into the top two, but starting is still a critical component to these races because you want to get ahead of your competitors as soon as possible and really give yourself the best chance to execute your best strategic option around this race course and get in that top two and make it through to the next round.
That is the goal for each and every one of these riders, isn't it? That is the challenge that is put in front of them. Who will be getting those top two spots and qualifying into that semi-final down that bottom end? Marta Majetti having a good start, but these front three are absolutely neck and neck. In the middle there, Helene Noesmeran, and just above her, we have the Spanish rider of Pilar La Madrid. The speed is on at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, so we saw the girls tussling for a position at the lower end of the line there to really accelerate off it. And yeah, the three girls at the bottom there, Marta, Pilar and Helene, really did a fantastic job at getting off the line there. All three of those girls are top performers. Really pioneers in the foiling space and in the IQ foiling space. So it's great to see that they're still in the top 10 and performing. They're, yeah, fantastic sailors. So here we go. The girls have rounded that reach mark there. They're working hard. We've got Helene, who's worked hard for depth there by pumping. So she's just trying to get it on the inside of the other girls and control that jibe point. So we've seen a few of them jibe off now. We're just following Pilar downwind here.
Pilar is certainly banging that left side of the course. Will that be the correct decision? I think we saw previously in the race, I think it was Tom who went quite far on the left side, and it paid in the end. It definitely paid. Will it pay for Pilar as well? She's certainly working hard. She's jibed on the top of one of those pieces of swell, those waves, just to give her extra glide and give her extra power. Now she will just be scanning what is her next move. How can she defend? How can she gain on the rest of these riders out here? This is the women's quarterfinal for the 2026 European Championships. It's the last day. The pressure is on and the excitement is on as these leaders start coming closer together. Who is going to be in this lead as they cross? It's looking like Shahar Tibi has actually taken the lead. What a downwind from her there, but not much separating them at all.
Yeah, so the girls have really converged here. Yeah, we saw some fantastic jibes on that downwind there. We can see P absolutely working her butt off here to get above the girls here. Yeah, you really, one of the fundamental rules of sailing is staying between your competitors and the mark. So that's what she's doing here. She's really trying to get that inside line on them. So when you get to the tacking point, she'll be able to get that tack off before them and really control them. She's done a fantastic job there. Yeah, that was really great work from there. She had a really nice mark rounding at the bottom. We can see the girls again heading off to the shoreline, similar to the boys in the race before, probably because they know it pays.
Absolutely incredible work from Pilar Lamadrid there. She worked insanely there. I can't imagine her heart rate there, but she was going for it and she got it. She rolled over Helene Noesmoen there, and now Pilar is in a attacking position here. She's gone for attack. Howard's attack, closely followed by Shahar Tibi. Who's got the best tack on here? They're both pretty good, aren't they?
Honestly, they did a great job there. You know, everyone was under pressure there. They were sailing a high angle. You've got wavy conditions. It's not flat water. It's not easy to do a nice tack in these. But they both came out with enough speed and power to really get going quickly and not lose their lanes. So yeah, we can see the girls here, like the undulations as they go over these waves, the level of skill required to keep the board foiling at a consistent height is quite a bit. And then to be able to roll each other is phenomenal. So we can just see Tibi kind of, when I say rolling, what she's doing is she's coming over the top of P there, and she's actually taking her wind. So that's why Pilar's pumping so hard, is she's just trying to get out of that dirty air. So if you can imagine, dirty air is basically if you're kind of stuck in the dirty water and the dirty turbulence of the sailors in front of you. So it makes it really hard to sail a nice angle, and you've basically got less wind strength and poorer conditions than those around you.
Well, we certainly saw that illustrated perfectly from when Shahar Tibi gave Pilar Lamadrid her dirty wind there, her used wind, and Pilar has just dropped out the back a little bit. This top three positions are changing all the time, but currently on their final downwind, it is Shahar Tibi and Helene Noesmoen from France who are in those top two positions. But as we saw, Pilar Lamadrid is very close behind.
Yeah, like it's all to play for pretty much until the end. So we saw the girls there working really hard out of their jibes, pumping with their legs, using all their strength to make sure that they're catching the right waves to really accelerate and make it downwind and close in on their competitors. So here we've got a great shot of the three girls just sending it downwind. Yeah, here we go. We've got Tibi going for a really nice jibe here. She's just keeping it cool, calm, and in control. You don't want to be too stressed with these jibes. You've got to be relaxed in order to keep proper technique, because one mistake, and yeah.
Very costly, isn't it?
Massive.
And it's not even, big moment
here we
coming
go.
in here. Where is this ley line? Who's going to be having right of way? It is indeed Pilar Lamadrid, and she's pushed into second place overall. Now remember, it is only the top two who make it in to this semi-final, and keep your eyes peeled on the left side of the screen, because Helene Noesmoen is going for that deeper line. She is attacking, she is pushing. This is a drag race all the way towards that finish. Shahar Tibi in the lead, looking pretty comfortable, but second place is right on the line. Pilar Lamadrid and Helene Noesmoen, who's going to take it?
Oh wow, this is incredible to watch. This bottom reach there, the girls would have been fully powered there, and it's managing that risk but trying to get as much speed as possible to stay ahead and get into that second position. So we saw Tibi take her back foot out at the end of that reach there, just because she was like, okay, I'm in first, I can't risk crashing here, just get across the line. But P and Helene had to really commit to the send there in order to fight for the second, because it is so critical. You get that second spot, you're through to the next round. You get third, unfortunately, that's your day done.
That's your day done. Commit to the send. That is a quote. Sammy Costin. Commit to the send. That is what we love to hear. And that is what we saw each and every one of those riders did. And it was Shahar Tibi who takes the win within that quarterfinal, along with Pilar Lamadrid in second, who advance through to those semi-finals. Helene Noesmorin in third, Marta Majetti and Maya Gisler finishing
Honestly,
off.
that was amazing. They took it right to the end there. Fantastic sailing from Pila there. She really worked hard at all of the points of convergence, and that's where you can really get those little 1%ers on your competitors. You know, we saw her pumping out of every mark rounding. We saw her pumping hard on that bottom lay line to get the inside jibe. Yeah, fantastic work to get that second.
Incredible stuff. Now that start line was packed. Every one of these riders hitting that start line pretty much perfect. Now it was Shahar Tibi, you know, I mean, she was in third, but straight away at that bottom mark, she took the lead.
Yeah, so she really led the girls out here to the right side of the course. We did see Marta split off. Unfortunately, that didn't pay, but that has kind of been the flavour of the week. It has been quite a one-sided track on the upwind, and unfortunately, it's really controlling that side. So you've got to make sure everything's going well in order to execute that.
And there was that moment. We did see Pilar La Madrid work incredibly to roll over Helene there, but, you know, it wasn't quite enough, and she rounded the top in first place, but rounding in third, but then rounding that bottom mark there, she was in second, but Helene was fighting all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Literally a board length was separating
That
them.
was phenomenal work. Pilar's bottom mark rounding there was fantastic. She did a jibe under pressure in rough conditions, was able to execute it and then get her back foot into the foot strap ASAP. And that allowed her to really push on that reach to just give her that little edge to get that second.
You're talking about the pressure, Sammy. Give us a vibe of how much pressure and what goes through their heads in those extremely important moments where there is literally no room for error.
It's an interesting one because you've got to make sure that it is the right things going through your head. You know, there is a saying that, like, as soon as you think about crashing, you're going to crash. So these girls all train extremely hard, and they train a lot. So a lot of these skills and plays, they've practiced in training. So I think just being able to execute to the level that you would be able to in training in these races is critical. So I'm sure when P came into that bottom mark rounding, she was doing a really good job at just making sure that she was present on the race course. She wasn't thinking about the ifs and the buts or what was going to happen, and she was just like, I know exactly what I need to do here. I know that I can do it, and I know what I need to do to execute it. And she did. And she should be super proud of that. You know, it's practice and perseverance that allows you to execute those skills. And she executed a number of plays across that race that really helped her get ahead and into that second position. You know, it's one of those things, like, Tibi did a fantastic job at leading, and she also did a wonderful job at executing really good mark roundings and positioning, and, like, had great speed. But yeah, different positions require different mindsets. If you're leading or if you're attacking, defending or attacking, it's completely different. You have to be able to switch between the two. But it's also being able to stay calm in these conditions. We're seeing on these downwinds that anything can change. So, you know, if you see your competitor get in front of you, you've just got to be like, no, I've made the right decision. I know why I made this decision. I've practiced my skills. I know what I'm doing. And just be confident that you can pull it together.
That's where I think the experience really shines, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, there are a lot of different ages, actually, which is really cool here in this competition. But, you know, everyone is training non-stop. This is the lives of these riders, isn't it?
Yeah, and we were all talking about this over the duration of the week. It's pretty much been on the go since the last Euros. You know, there isn't really a period to have a break. And it's all for that kind of, it's an Olympic sport. It's a 4-year quad. Everyone's just trying to get the gains when they can get them. And yeah, so it's kind of always on. And yeah, it's really nice when you see people that are working hard and that, you know, have really been working to fine-tune their technique and their skills, be able to actually execute them in racing. It's really nice to see. So we can see here the boys are getting ready for the men's semi-final. Should probably not call them boys, sorry. And yeah,
Summer
so
boys.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as you mentioned before, we've got a mix of ages in these medal races. But we've just had to witness how close they've had to go into the beach there, like pretty much into the waves, in order to get a nice lead in for the start, so they can have really good time on distance and really good acceleration.
It's so exciting for the spectators on the beach and also us watching here in the booth. And I hope all of you legends watching at home as well. This place in Portimao in Portugal is incredible as we're coming up to the men's semi-final here on the last day of the 2026 iQFoil European Championships. Down that bottom end we have Israel's 60, Tom Ruveny, Gray Morris in amongst of it there. Up that top end, Freddie Poloni has actually stopped there.
I don't think it was clear. I think we had an over early. So basically what's happened here, guys, is someone didn't get their timing right for the start, so they were just a little bit too early for the warning signal. So what they're doing now is they're doing a general recall. They'll bring all the sailors back. The race stops. That one's pretty much abandoned. So everyone will go to the boat. They'll be informed who was over early, and then that person will have a 5-second penalty. So they'll have to start 5 seconds behind the group that had the correct time and was preparing for the correct start.
It's going to be good, and it is so close there.
Oh, mate. That looked like a fair few were over. But, you know, there could be delay in the drone footage there. Look,
all speculation here.
I don't know.
But it is, whatever it was jolly close indeed. But very interesting that we saw Federico Poloni really put on the brakes there right at the end.
He knew, and I think that's actually a really good play. We've had a fair few black flags this week. People have really been pushing the starts, which makes sense. It's a European Championship. And, you know, we do have drops during the race series, which allows people to drop their really big scores. So a lot of these guys in the medal series are dropping black flags or over earlies. But Freddie there, by slowing, he's given himself the best possible opportunity to not be identified as a board that was over, and then that will give him a 5-second advantage on the boards that were.
So we'll see if he was over the start line. Who was over the start line? Whoever was over the start line, it will be pulled back indeed. Apparently, number 24, Israel 24, Yoav Omer, over that start line, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can just see from the difficulty in telling who was over there just how hard it is to get the correct timing for these starts, you know? Like, there is milliseconds in it. But you want to be on it at go. It's critical. So here we go. We've got the boys. They're going to be setting up for the next race. They're just going to restart. So who was the black flag? Sorry?
Israel 24.
Okay, so
that's what we heard. That's what we heard. So Yoav Omer, unfortunately, just jumping that gun, overstepping that.
Yeah, a 5-second penalty is not great, but he can come back from that. You know, but again, 5 seconds does make the difference.
Indeed, indeed. There he is, just looking around. I think he's maybe communicating with his coach there. What's going through his head? What do you think is going through his head there at the minute, Sally?
He's probably trying to reset. You know, like, he's got a race to sail.
Yeah.
He can't get stuck in the past.
Right on.
You know, like, and as you can see, they kind of bang it off into the next one really quick.
Yeah. And anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know, bang it. There's no dawdling around here. While we've got the conditions, while we've got these epic conditions here for the last day in Portimao, Portugal, for the European Championships, we are racing it out. We are witnessing the action as we are inside of the semi-final for the men. We've already had the quarterfinals for the men and the women, and now going on to the semi-finals.
Yeah, so things are really heating up now. So we're seeing the boards from 3rd to 6th in the semi-finals. So there's been some chopping and changing with this overnight due to some protests. So it's unfortunately some people that were in 2nd have been bumped back to 3rd, and some people that were 3rd have been bumped up to 2nd. which is a big thing because first and second actually make it through to the grand final. So they don't have to do any of this racing now. They don't have to really fight for their lives in order to make it onto the podium until that final race, which can also be quite daunting, just sitting out there on the boat watching your competitors race and get comfortable with the conditions can be, can give them an edge.
That's it. In this race, we have qualifying straight into it was Israel 60, Tom Ruveny. Qualifying in fourth is Federico Poloni. Third is Gray Morris, and qualifying from the quarterfinal, joining them will be Tom Arnoux and Yoav Omer.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see here whether the advantages of the boys sailing the race previous, they're able to execute a better plan, and whether that will be able to give them an edge. Oh no, so we've had another general recall.
That was an interesting start. There was one rider sticking out a long way. You know, usually through these reaching starts throughout the week, we've seen everyone come towards that line exactly together. However, that start, it was very interesting because they were all very spaced out. So maybe there was a bit of timing with the watches not quite right or something like that.
Honestly.
Yeah, look at this. Look how spaced out everyone is for that start. Interesting stuff there, isn't it?
Yeah, it can always be a bit tilting when there's an over early, and when there's a start after that, it can kind of result in some funny patterns, sticking their heads out.
There we have it. Both Israeli riders over that start line, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well, it was from the first one. It was Yoav, and on that previous one just there, it was Tom Ruveny, both over that start line. So they will be again starting with 5-second penalties.
We'll reset again and go again. So they'll bang off another start here. Hopefully this one will be a clear one and we can get a race going.
Yeah, right on. Well, throughout this week we have had a lot of general recalls through this week. Now that just shows that the level is so high, isn't it, Sammy?
Yeah, you've really got to push it in order to get those top results. And unfortunately, sometimes you can push it too hard and you can be over early or you can crash. So a lot of these riders do have really big numbers on their scorecards that they are dropping. But yeah, that's how it is. You've got to be able to take some risks sometimes.
Indeed. Now here we have a slightly new system to identify exactly who is over the start line each and every race, and it's done by drones. So we're bringing in new technology into this racing to make the racing better quality, fairer overall, and we get the ultimate winner at the end of the week. Because, you know, in some of these previous races, you know, for the men we have 117, and for the women we have 75. You know, we only have the top 10 racing out today, but in those previous races, there are so many people so condensed that it's quite hard to pick out.
Yeah, it's really hard. So with the sprint racing, they do that in a heat format. So that can have up to 25 sailors in it. So that's a bit smaller. But when we're doing course racing, you know, the men's fleet had 50 plus on a start line. That's a lot of boards. That's a lot going on. And especially, you know, we're allowed to start on port and starboard, so from differing directions. So yeah, that can be full on, can be dangerous, it can be scary, but yeah, we've seen a lot of things this week.
We certainly have, and what we are seeing now is the final day, the medal race series for the 2026 iQFoil European Championships. If you've just tuned in, we have already completed the quarterfinals for both the women and the men, and we are now on to the semi-finals. Currently on our screens, we are inside the last 2 minutes to go for the men.
Yeah, so we can see the drones just kind of floating above the line there. Honestly, they've become pretty much a critical component of this racing. Yeah, they're always floating around. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between a drone or a bird, just because they're always in there. But yeah, they've helped the race committee a lot in identifying these over early. So we've just had 2 general recalls because 2 sailors have just pushed the line a little bit too hard. So now we're going into a 3rd start for this men's semi-final. And yeah, hopefully we'll get the race underway.
I think we will indeed. We certainly will. We are inside the last minute to go. As we said, already 2 riders have jumped the gun and they are starting with a 5-second penalty. So watch out for them, who will be holding out the back. But, you know, 5 seconds can definitely be made up within this race here. We've seen it in previous competitions where the riders with those penalties have actually gone on to qualify and win races.
Absolutely.
But it's harder. It's a lot harder, isn't it?
Like that shot that we just had there before, looking downwind, you could see the dark and light patches on the water just indicating the differences in wind. And, you know, managing that well could easily bring you back from a 5-second delay. So, yeah. So everyone has a chance in this race still. It's just not ideal that this is not starting at the same time. But, you know...
That's the cost of being over the start line, though, isn't it?
Honestly, and all of these guys... Oh, we've had an AP.
AP flag.
AP can basically mean that they've had to... They've cancelled that start, so that race is no longer going ahead. And they can AP for a number of reasons. They may need to reset the course because there's been a change in the wind direction. Maybe they want to change formats. Maybe there's a spectator boat on the course area. We don't know. We'll let you know if we're told why they're under AP. It does sound like this one's going to be a quick one, which is really good from the race committee. They're always pretty fast with these APs. No one likes waiting, especially these poor boys who have done a few starts now, but hopefully they're getting their practice in.
Exactly. You know, out on the course, it's quite hard to lay a course. You know, it's not just like a road that is the same all the time. You know, here the wind's changing, the water is changing, so these race crew are working so hard just to make sure that the courses are
fair and reasonable, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the way sailing works is we're limited in the angles that we can sail due to the wind. So you can't sail directly upwind and you can't sail directly downwind. So that basically means you can't point directly into the wind and you can't put directly down from the wind when you're foiling. You could do that if you're standing still, that's fine, but you're not going to be moving and you're not going to be winning. So basically... the race committee, their job is to set up these courses so the marks are in the right position relative to the wind. But if the wind's changing all the time, that changes. And there is a bit of variance that, like, is in reason during a race. Like, nothing can be perfect. But once it goes outside of certain ranges, adjustment is necessary. Otherwise, the race is unfair.
So, you know, you're all watching in thinking it's all pretty easy, just lay a couple marks in the water. It's not as easy as that, to be honest. There's a whole huge system. The logistics are crazy. You know, the organisation between the racing out here, but also the whole event is a huge feat, you know. And, you know, here in Portimao, it is just been perfect. It's been amazing. We've got an epic kit storage on the beach, haven't we, Sammy?
Yeah, they've looked after us really well. We have a great spot to store our gear, plenty of room, and we have a great platform to rig on. As much as we like being in the water and on the beach, don't think many people like the sand. And I am one of them. So yeah, they've looked after us well. We have great facilities to clean our gear, look after our gear, and that's all we really care about.
Exactly. You said one thing in there that you're not too keen on the sand. Now, I think it would be good to explain a little bit why. Not going too negative, of course, but for example, the mask, the sand could get stuck in the mask.
Oh, absolutely. I had that yesterday. So basically, with this equipment, it's all performance equipment. So, you know, very small margins, lots of connection points. Sand getting into that can wreak havoc. You know, adjustments can be harder. Masts can get stuck together. Any windsurfer knows sand in the mast can be diabolical. So, yeah, but also, like, we've got these foils here, and, like, small damage to the foil can slow your speed down significantly just because of the speed that we're traveling at. So, yeah, it's sand.
Yeah.
Aside from just being personally annoying
Oh.
can also be detrimental to performance.
Well, I love the sand. I love the sand. You know, it gives me a great vibe. We're by the beach having a good time. Of course, you know, when I'm windsurfing, you know, you try and get it, try and get the sand off. But this is what's so perfect about this location, because we have all the facilities. But what is really good to note from that as well is that not only do these riders have to have their head in the game on the water racing here, they also have to have their head in the game on land, whether that's keeping your equipment correct, whether that's tuning it correct, or whether it's just getting in the right mental state, keeping your body powerful, keeping your body with energy for these final moments.
Yeah. So we're just watching the boys come in for their final approach for the start, and they really went in close with the shoreline there. I'm not sure if you saw that,
Right,
but
close,
they were bopping over some waves there. But yeah, so they're just trying to give themselves a nice runway here. But yeah, like you were saying, looking after your equipment and making sure that your settings are right really can give you a speed advantage, especially in these conditions where every little piece makes a difference. Wow, look at that.
What a start. I think Freddie up that top end timed that absolutely perfect. And look at the speed of all three riders. These are the top three riders who didn't have that 5-second penalty, and their speeds are so similar, but so fast as they all make it through to that first mark.
Yeah, so all of the three men there were absolutely cranking off the start there, but we're seeing the difference in positioning here due to just the timing from those starts. Like, Freddie had a fantastic start there. He really got the timing right up near that committee boat. And yeah, look at this. He's used it to really kind of accelerate onto that downwind and get ahead of the others, and he's leading them down.
Certainly leading them down at the minute, but we will wait and find out, because we did just see a general recall flag. Unfortunately, one or more of those riders was over the start line yet again.
Not another one. Oh my goodness.
Holy moly. Oh, they're still racing. They haven't quite got the memo yet.
Has anyone gone to get them?
They're just so in the game. Their heads are in the game. You know, that's
Okay, so they're sending out a boat now to collect the guys. Yeah, they're just locked into this race, so they'll probably get them at the bottom mark here, which can be frustrating because we're looking at how hard these guys are working. And they're going to have to go back up to the top and do it all over again.
Do it all over again, but that is the nature of this. Each and every one of these riders are pushing it so hard. We've already seen one general recall. We've already seen two. There we had our third general recall, but they are still racing.
Maybe we're getting the wrong information here, because yeah, they're still grinding. Okay, we'll just commentate the race then.
Yeah, well, they're still going for it. Great Morris deciding to go out onto the right side of the course. Australia 81.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So he's actually going away from the shoreline. So we'll see how this pays off. He's probably done this just because he wasn't leading, so he's separated from the others. He's increased the risk, because also separation, he could catch something that the other guys won't be able to access on this upwind, which could give him that little bit to get back in front of them.
And he is wearing the red bib today because he did come in today in third place overall. Incredible competition from him so far. Gray Morris was last year's under-23 world champion, so reigning under 23 world champion, and it is definitely a general recall, isn't it?
Yep, they've caught them now. That's sad. But it's tricky, you know, they're moving so quick. Catching up to them on a powerboat is hard. You know, and they're not paying attention to the boats around them. They're locked in, right? They're in their own little worlds. But yeah, so they've caught them.
Yeah, well, let's see who was over that start. Definitely Freddie was pushing it there. Let's see when that flag goes down. Oh, it's so close.
Oh my goodness. We might both have the Italian and the French riders over for that one. It's hard to say.
We'll wait and find out, but whatever it was close, wasn't it? So close. I think probably Freddie was over because he was the one in front, wasn't he?
Yeah, honestly, you would think that the one that was across the start line first is the one that's over and over, but you never know. I don't know.
You never know. You do never know. But one thing is for sure is that, you know, after one general recall, when they realised that, You know, if you're over the start, you do have that 5-second penalty. It hasn't stopped them. It hasn't given them too much scare, has it?
No, I feel for them out there. Like, everyone out there, not just the guys in this race, but the girls waiting for their race, and then the grand finalists. They're probably all sitting there twitching. Like, it's what do you do? You know, there's nothing you can do here. They just need to get this race done. But yeah, and it really, like, managing this as well, managing these generals, managing people being over, managing multiple starts and delays is critical in this. You have to be able to stay in the right mindset and locked in order to execute in your race.
Throughout, they are trying to stay locked in, and they are staying locked in. But there we have confirmation. It is Italy 286, Freddie Poloni, who is yet again with a 5-second.
Mate, if we keep going the way we're going, everyone's going to, the start will actually just be 5 seconds late.
Yeah, right. So left, well, we just have Gray Morris and Tom Ruveny left on the start with no 5-second penalty.
That's a big win to those guys. Yeah. Easy 5-second lead on the guys behind them, at least just for this reach.
Right on. That's a good little start to the semi-final, isn't it, for them? And now remember, it is only 2 that make it through to that grand final. It's the top 2, and there's 2 now not on a penalty. So will that play? Sammy, what do you think? Will that change their mentality of how they race now?
Well, we're getting a good shot here of Freddie talking to his coach right now. And yeah, so basically, like, it can affect your mentality being over. Definitely, you know. It can make people cautious, but these guys are also the best. And they've done hundreds of starts. So, you know, they're probably just able to lock back in.
And they do. Let's have a little look at the quarterfinal, how that went with this previous race of our qualifications. Earlier on, it was Finn Hawkins getting a very good start. Leo and Finn rounding that mark in first place. Now keep your eyes on Tom Arnoux, France 152. He was one of the qualifiers along with Yoav Omer on our screens there as well. They both decided to jibe a lot later, go on more on the left side of the course, and it certainly paid. Yoav Omer went really hard right there, actually, didn't he?
Yeah, it's interesting looking at this one, just looking back at this quarterfinal, how much the conditions have changed out there. Like, that's light. But I wouldn't say the conditions at the moment are light. It's kind of in that middle range. I think everyone's pretty powered up over there. There's probably some setting changes going on. But yeah, it's interesting looking back at this race and just seeing how much the conditions have changed.
And we are going over to the women's quarter now. There's Tom Arnoux. Bosh. Game on. El Bosh for Tom Arnoux. He's one of the qualifiers, and he made it through to that semi-final. Finn Hawkins crossing the line there as well. And moving over to the women's semi-final. Another great start, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's just interesting watching the difference between the 2 starts there as well. I would argue that the girls did have slightly more pressure for this race than the guys ahead, so they were able to kind of survive that congestion on the start line. And we saw a few of the girls pumping off that start line. It is tricky to do when you're powered up on a reach with wave state. So yeah, they did really well in using that to kind of get ahead. But yeah, that was a really nice start from them. Really good timing. Yeah.
There was a big battle within that top 3 though here of Shahar Tibi, Pilar Lamadrid and Helene Noesmoen, all constantly pumping, all constantly crossing, and there was that big moment down at the bottom. It was Shahar rounding in first, but second and third was game on between France 57 and Pilar Lamadrid all the way towards the line. And as we said, a board length. Literally, what's that, like 0.1 seconds or something?
Oh, honestly,
1/10 of a second.
Blink and you miss it. Like, it's, yeah. They both would have been fighting so hard for that position. Yeah. Do we reckon we're in a start now? What do we think's happening?
It's probably coming up very soon, whatever's happening. We're seeing Tom Arnoux with the pink helmet on here at the minute. He's just getting prepared. Yeah, I was hoping. I was about to see France 1-5-2. I was.
Yeah, I was like, you've done well in being able to. It's so hard to see who's who when they're all kitted up.
Yeah, right. But
apart from the leaders who have their coloured jerseys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things, you know. Each of these riders all have a slightly different technique, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things how you can just pick out. But you've really got to analyse each person's technique, their positions, to know exactly what's going on. But
you know you've spent too much time with someone when you can tell who it is just from their silhouette.
Or the right amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we go. So we've got the two boys coming in. Guys, I'm so sorry. Men coming in now. Yeah, so we've got the over early gang just kind of trailing behind.
Out the back. Over early gang, yeah.
They're still going to make sure that they're bang on their 5-second delayed start. Because you got to make those seconds count.
Whoa! Look at the jury boat absolutely cranking. The umpire's up there, but who is cranking more is Tom Arnoux and Gray Morris out in the lead straight away. It's looking like a good start so far, and it is Tom Arnoux taking the early lead. But Gray Morris certainly has the speed. He came into today wearing that red bib. He is last year's under-23 world champion. Could he be adding a European Championship title to his name within this race? He'll have to qualify inside of this top 2.
Yeah, here we go. So yeah, Gray won the under-23s at this location not too long ago. So yeah, he might have a bit of, I wouldn't say local knowledge, but some knowledge on the conditions and the venue. A little bit more than the guys around him, but like here we go. See, so we've got the guys that had the 5-second penalty. They're really catching up now. This downwind should give them the opportunity to really pull back to the ones ahead, but still, you know, 5 seconds could be the difference, and we'll find out at the finish line.
It looks like the wind has possibly picked up a little bit.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
looking out the booth here, feels like it's definitely picked up, and it's looking like it's picked up out there as well. So they'll have a little bit more power in their sails, a bit more power in their engines to pull them around this course at the minute. Tom Arnoux is looking like he is pretty comfortable at the minute. Fight for second place is on here between Tom Ruveny and Gray Morris. They are both pumping to the max, just letting off, hooking back into that harness line. Tom Ruveny's got the speed and angle though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's working extremely hard to really use those waves. What's interesting is as they're getting down to the lower half of the course, the waves are becoming more swell-like. But if we were at the top, there was a lot of chop, a lot of wind chop. The water was quite disturbed. So managing those different conditions is critical. Okay, here we go.
The second place is hot at the minute. Tom Arnoux certainly has a little bit of distance to the rest of the pack here, though. But on our screens there, it was Yoav Omer and Tom Ruveny going out on the left. Freddie Poloni and Australia 81 of Go Gray Morris heading out onto the right.
Yeah, so we've got Gray separating from the pack again here. Probably, again, just to try and get ahead, make sure that he's in that top 2. So he's trying to take as much risk as necessary to get one over on the boys. So we did see... yeah, he's the only one going out to the right. So this is going to be really interesting.
How is his tack? Is it going to be a foiling tack? A tiny touchdown in amongst of it there. It's pretty, you know, it's mad. At some points, it's looking like it's really windy. At some points, it's looking like it's really light. Probably because that's exactly what it's like out on the course.
Oh, yeah, it'd be all over the place. But also, like, in these conditions, like, the wind strength might be strong enough that it would be easy foiling conditions in flat water and easy foil tack conditions in flat water. Throwing a wave, it's a completely different story. So, yeah. Okay, here we go. So we've got the...
Whee! Little bit of a jump. I think he got a bit of seaweed on there.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of stuff out in that water. So that's another thing that everyone has to manage, is just making sure that their foils are clean and there's not something that's hindering their performance upwind and downwind, because it can have a massive... It can be detrimental to your speed and angle and really ability to foil.
Yeah, right on. It is still Tom Arnoux out in the lead here. France 152. How is his tack? Another splendid tack
Yeah, that was
indeed.
nice.
But Tom Ruveny, he's only come and taken the lead
Beautiful work.
of the rest of the pack
Oh.
there, though. Fight for the second place is on between Tom Arnoux and Freddie Poloni. And just in that fourth place, still attacking,
Here we go.
is Yoav Omar. Look at Yoav. He's gone for a
There we
big
go.
pump there and driving off instantly.
Yeah, so he's gone for the separation on the others. You know, it's all to fight for the second position, so he's going to
Still
throw
on.
everything at it. Tom Arnoux had a fantastic second jibe at the top mark there, so he just
Incredible.
underlaid that top lay line. But he was able to execute a second tack beautifully, which had very little impact on his speed. So that kept him in the mix, and the ability to execute that, you know, if that had been slightly slow, if he'd clipped away, could have been all done then. He
Oh.
could have been out the back third.
It could have been,
Easily.
but no, he manages to do it perfectly and
Yeah.
still has a shot at that qualification place into that grand final. Now remember, it is only the top two that make it in. First is looking like Tom Ruveny has definitely spaced out, and the fight is on, whether that's with Freddie or...
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
goodness! I think
Freddie's
Freddie's gonna
come.
be. Here we go.
What
this
a
is
legend.
Stunning work. This is really good. So we got a good shot there of the jury boat and the drone, following Freddie on that downwind, watching him closely. Wow, everyone's really come together. Not seeing
mixing
Gray in the
around.
mix here, but still, these guys have done fantastically to come back from this 5-second penalty.
incredible, yeah. Now remember, they did have those 5 seconds, and they have just come straight back from it as Tom Ruveny goes through that finish, crosses that line. Where is that line? There it is. He's already crossed, and closely
There we
followed
go.
by Freddie
Oh.
Poloni.
Freddie's doing a fantastic job. That he's got to be chuffed with that. You know,
Incredible work.
He's through to the grand final now.
Freddie's
that's,
through.
That's incredible. That's
Freddie is
absolutely
through.
incredible. Here we go. We've got the finish line. Have we seen Gray cross?
Not too sure. Not too sure. I mean, it was definitely Freddie and Tom who qualify into that grand final, but it was so close between all those
Yeah.
riders in the end. You know, that place for first, well, those top two spots were always switching around.
And I think credit to them for fighting to the very end there. You know, like you never know what's going to happen. Someone could crash on that bottom reach. Yeah, everyone did phenomenal in that racing. You know, to come back from that many generals, to come back from a delayed start, a 5-second penalty, and just keep working through the whole thing is great.
Indeed, indeed. So it was Tom in the lead, Freddie, then Tom Ruveny, I think, then Yoav Omar, and then finishing off that was Gray Morris. Now let's have a look at a replay of that race. Look at that. It was
Yeah.
speed on. There are our 5-second penalty riders there.
We can call that the second start,
The second
basically.
start.
Yeah, so we had the 3 guys starting on their second start line, and then we had it was Gray and Tom Arnoux on the first start. They didn't have the penalty, the 5-second penalty.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And there was that jump from Gray. I mean, would like to say that was out of a bit of fun, but I don't think
definitely
it
don't.
wasn't.
Yeah, it definitely.
It wasn't out of fun, was
no,
it?
gosh, no. It looks like he was trying. It looks like he
Yeah.
felt like there was something on his foil.
So, like, something
and
on
he
the
was-
foil, yeah,
Just taking the time to make sure that there wasn't. But
exactly.
yeah,
Just dropped out the back, but dropping into the front was Freddie Poloni and Tom Ruveny taking it all the way towards that finish. They were pretty safe at this point, pretty cruising as Freddie crosses that line and banks himself a spot within that grand final.
he did so well, especially considering he was the last over early. He was the last general recall.
Insane.
You know, so he had to bounce back the quickest out of everyone. You know, and we did see his coach giving him a big pep talk on that start line. I don't know what he said to him, but it worked. That was phenomenal.
What do you think he said?
No idea. I have no idea. Don't speak Italian. But yeah, who knows?
I
It
reckon he
worked.
said Andiamo.
What's that mean?
Let's go.
Okay.
Die, die. And it certainly works.
Oh, mate, didn't it?
Andiamo
There we go.
indeed. And now we are heading over to the women's semi-final coming up very soon. Sammy, do you think we're going to see as many general recalls as we saw in the other semi-final?
No, the girls are usually well behaved. I'm kidding. I don't think so. I think the girls will be pushing it just as much. But there's definitely a tendency for there to be more generals in the men's fleet than there is the women's fleet. And I can't comment on why.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Hey.
Well, famous last words, eh? We might get even more
watch
general
me.
recalls
Where
here.
I need to touch wood here. Like, I can't take the stress of any more general recalls. It's freaking me out, and I'm not even out there sailing.
Right on, right on.
Yeah, look
No,
how much the conditions have changed. Look at this. So yeah, the girls would definitely be on a more depowered setup now, in order for them to absolutely maximize their speed on that top reach, because the risk of falling off the foil in a maneuver is significantly lower. So they can start optimizing their gear to really prioritize speed. Because what we find in this class is if you put speed at the forefront, then you're able to get angle, you're able to get better height, you're able to point further upwind, which allows you to get on the inside of your competitors, as we mentioned before, and get between them and the mark, and really just switch between modes to make the most of the conditions out there. Oh, look at that little frother.
It's shredding. This place is amazing. Portimao here in Portugal is a amazing location, not only to come on holiday, but also to do water sports.
Oh, yeah.
Whether that's surfing that we saw there or something even better that's called iQFoiling that we're watching here.
Honestly, yeah, look, there's a lot going on, as we can see from this shot here. Everyone's out on the beaches enjoying this Saturday, enjoying the sun, enjoying the conditions. And yeah, the locals have been lovely here. And yeah, it's just been great to be in an environment where everyone's just been so frothed to have a championship. Yeah, so here we go. We've got the girls coming in for the start here. So we have 2 China sailors now joining the mix. So they're not Europeans, but here they are, and they're absolutely smashing it.
Smashing it they are. It looks like they both have the best starts within the middle of there, but it is so close. All 5 riders neck and neck at full speed on this top reach. Literally more centimetres separating them there now. But it is Pilar Madrid who has put the power down, and she has extended. Got probably a couple board links there to second place. Who is going to be running that top mark in first place?
She's on fire today. She's been on fire this entire regatta. Just this shot here and that shot earlier on the reach, you can see the adjustment that the girls are making just to keep the board in control on that reach. You know, constantly adjusting their hips, the pressure through their legs to control that ride height, to control how far the nose of the board is up or down to manage those waves, and also just to be able to keep their sails powered up. Here we go. So we've got the girls jibing downwind. I'm not too sure if anyone's decided to stay on and extend out to the left looking downwind.
I think Daniela Peleg.
Yeah?
Daniela Peleg has certainly gone quite far onto the right side of that course at the minute, jibing directly on a big bit of swell there.
So she really prioritized getting speed out of that jibe there, so she was able to take that swell and rather use it for depth, she really used it to accelerate towards the others.
Big moment here. Where is that bottom ley line? Shahar Tibi is leading this race so far. Now remember, it is still only the top 2 that make it through and qualify into that grand final. Doesn't matter where inside that top 2. I mean, a win will definitely boost confidence, but it is all about who is inside of that top 2, and not much separating them at all. Now it is Shahar Tibi certainly out in the lead, got a bit of distance to the rest of the pack there though, but second place is hotly contested.
Yeah, absolutely. We're watching. Oh, we've had a bit of that boat's just gonna make her life a little bit difficult. Yeah, we've got a bit of separation here. So we've got China 37 going out to the right-hand side, looking upwind. We saw Gray do that in the men's semi-final. Unfortunately, it didn't pay for him, but we'll see everything changes. The wind shifts, as we were mentioning before, those shifts that affect the placement of the marks, that can happen during a race. They're not going to abandon the race unless it's significant, and that can really give someone a leg up. So we're seeing here the girls going off towards the shoreline. We've got Tibby leading the girls in. P's doing a fantastic job of taking that higher lane and just trying to stay in between her competitors and that mark. Okay, so we've had China 37 tack back. I'm not too sure if she's tacked on ley line or she's just tacked back because she's gauged that the angle's not going to pay for her and she wants to connect back with the fleet.
It did look from that angle before that there possibly could be a little bit more wind out towards the beach at the minute. Could that just be more of the white water? Like we can see here, it's pretty big out there. Those waves are significant.
Yeah, it's interesting. And as the pressure increases overall across the course, the pressure differences that you see on the side of the courses, if there isn't as significant of a difference, it's not going to be as big a factor in decision making as it was previously in the light wind. It's going to come more down to the angle that the wind's coming down at and what that's going to allow them to sail at. Okay, so we can see Tibby coming into the top mark here. So she's just coming in on that port ley line.
She's
so
certainly in the lead, isn't she?
So she's going to have to do one more tap before she can round that one, but she's done a really good job at just controlling this race.
I think so. I think that mark in the background there, that could be the start line. So it could be that she may be on ley line here. Will she be able to make it that? I think she will be. We've got an epic close-up shot, and there is that mark. She is on her final downwind here. She's
My
definitely
mistake.
extended.
She got that ley line beautifully. She
Not
was,
bad.
yeah, really good work there. So she was off the uphaul on the upwind there. So really working hard to maximize her angle. Being off the uphaul, so basically there's a rope that runs from the boom down to the bottom of the mast, and the sailors use that to kind of twist their body into a position that allows them to keep the rig upright, control the board beautifully, but also really be able to foil high and maximize the gear to its full potential.
Israel 3 is still in that lead, just doing it perfectly. She is defending, she is staying cool, she is keeping her head in the game.
Wow, look at that swell behind her.
Oh, it's big, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's big.
It's quite nice though, because there's quite a long period between the waves. I think it would be a completely different story if that swell that size was quite close together. And it's also quite slow moving, which is nice. Yeah, it could be a bit aggressive if it was different.
Yeah, right on. But almost just cruising down on these waves down at the bottom now. But
she's making it look easy, and it's not. It's not.
that's the thing. That is the thing. You know, all these riders. These are some of the best riders in the world. Shahar Tibi was world champion, I think, in 23. One of those. I mean, we've all these riders are multiple international podium winners. You know, at the minute, it's incredible from all these riders, and they do just make it look easy.
Yeah, she's had an outstanding performance in this race. Like the lead that she's got on these girls, and these girls are the best in Europe at the moment. They're the best out of this regatta, and she's just absolutely dominated. Yeah, really great performance from her. We've got Pila coming in now, looking really strong. Oh, we've got China 17 making
through.
a play for that reach. Unfortunately, I don't think she's going to make it, but like solid effort. She really made some gains there. She really worked hard for that speed. Yeah, congratulations, Pila. You're round through for another round. That's sick.
Incredible work from Pilar La Madrid and also Shahar Tibi. You know, both qualifying into that grand final, and they both qualifying from that quarter final as well.
Yeah, really solid work from the girls there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So the next race for them will be the grand final. So they'll meet the two best performers from this regatta overall. And yeah, I think it's going to make for some really great racing. Not that the racing hasn't been great so far. We've seen some really strong racing from all the riders.
Incredible performance from each and every one of those riders there. Qualifying into that grand final is Shahar Tibi and Pilar Lamadrid. Shahar did come into today in 7th place overall, so she has gained so much. She must be so happy with her performance so far. Along with Pilar Lamadrid, we were having a chat with her earlier on in the week, and she is just stoked to be right back up there in those medal races, and she is showing us she has what it takes to be right up in that top 3. She is now guaranteed top 4 in this European Championships.
Good for her. Like, it's always great to see someone loving it again. You know, she's been with the class since the very beginning, which isn't actually that long. It's quite a new class, but yeah, it's just great to see her happy with her performances.
Incredible work. Let's have a look at the highlights from that previous semi-final. So it was a very good start early on. Both of the Chinese riders definitely having a board length to the rest of the riders there though, but those 3 certainly came straight back through of Daniela Shahar and Pilar Lamadrid up that top end. Pilar had the speed though in those foot straps cranking.
Yeah, and like the water's so clear, you can see the hydrofoils underneath the water there and how high the girls are foiling and how close to the surface those wings are. So basically these foils are essentially a fin, but they allow the sailors to foil above the water, to sail above the water. It's sick.
It's insane, isn't it? It's so cool to watch, you know. It's windsurfing. This is the Olympic windsurfing class, and we're a foiling class, and that just means that we can fly above the water, reduce the drag, and you know, go super
access
fast.
Speeds that we couldn't access before around a race course.
Whether that's in 6 knots or whether that is in 30 knots, it's incredible.
Exactly, and we've had a number of competitions over this year, and we've seen an amazing range of conditions. And yeah, it's sick to see this class really doing well.
It's shredded. It's so cool to see, and so cool to see so many people just getting involved. Whether that's, you know, the races, we've got huge amounts of almost 200 people here on this senior European Championships of riders, or any of the organisation. You know, us in the booth, you know, I'm having a great time. I don't know about you. Some of you have had a good time on the week, and now keeping it going on the last day.
Exactly. Honestly, got me out of bed. I'd probably be on the beach, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's great to be here, and it's great to be commentating the races. They're fantastic to watch. I enjoy watching them, as I'm sure everyone else that's watching is as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the really cool things about, I think, the overall vibe here, that everyone is united. You know, you can see on those coach boats, those ribs there, that we've got a lot of people watching the races at exactly as it happens. No doubt some of the riders that didn't quite make it into the medal race series just giving support to their teammates, which is so nice to see.
Yeah, honestly, the community makes the sport, and we have a really good community going at the moment. So not much to complain about, really.
Yeah, right on. It's cool to be part of. So if you want to get part of this community of IQ foiling, of windsurfing, of loving life, of loving everything, you know where to check it out. Go on the website, iQFoil class, or check out all the social medias. But here is the place to be at the minute. Here is where to watch. Here is how to get right into the action. We are at the tail end of the competition at the minute of the 2026 iQFoil European Championships here in Portimao in Portugal. It's the final day. It's the medal race series. We have already completed the quarterfinals for both the women and men. We have completed the semi-finals, and now we are on to the grand finals.
Yeah, so we've got, are they in? Yep, here we go. We've got the countdown going. We can see everyone lining up for their approach. Again, heading into the shore break a little bit. And here they'll just be making sure that they've got their timing right and trying to position themselves so they can get ahead. The usual. We've seen this a few times today. But yeah, you never really know what the outcome is going to be. So let's see.
Indeed. So in this grand final, we have Denmark 37 on our screens there of Johan So.
There we go. So we just saw Freddie there just bleeding a little bit of speed by pushing out on his sail just to backwind it a little bit. slow down. He probably thought that he might. Wow.
What speed, what acceleration down that bottom end from event leader wearing that yellow bib is Luke van Opzeeland. Just above him, upwind of him there is Tom Rouveney, our 2024 Olympic champion. Also, Luke van Opzeeland is got the bronze medal at the Olympics as well. Johan So in amongst of it there. Incredible rider as well, and Federico Poloni showing what he's made of at the top as well.
Yeah, Luke's had a fantastic regatta. I'm not sure on the specifics, but I don't think he's really finished outside of the top 10 aside from a black flag, which is an incredible performance. And yeah, that start there was crazy. He had amazing speed there. And he just absolutely boosted off there. Yeah, and I think it's going to pay dividends.
Absolutely sending it. He's certainly in the lead at the minute, but not by much at all. Johan So going right down on the left side of the course. Look at the boats. I mean,
wow.
It looks like these riders are not flying it that fast because they make it look so easy. Just look at the jury boats with the umpires on there.
Yeah.
That just shows how fast all these riders are going, but they are not going fast enough that they are thinking, because they are pumping. They want to go faster, they want to get more angle, and they want to get better overall BMG. Luke van Opzeeland, it's looking like the pack on the left maybe got a bit further, but no, where's this cross coming?
They still have to get a jibe in, so it's going to be very interesting.
Oh, it's so close. There's the cross, both Tom, Freddie, and well, they both crossed. Where is this compared to Johan as well? God, Luke going in for the jibe there now. Oh,
wow.
Oh, big moment there from Luke and Tom. Tom was on port, so he had to avoid contact, and so he did.
Okay,
it's so close, but look who is in the lead. It's Freddie Poloni.
Yeah, so we've got the upwind leg of the race. We've got another separation going here.
This is exciting, isn't it?
There's so much
epic.
going on.
This is the grand final. This is the last, the last set of races possibly between the end of the competition and possibly crowning our European champion. It's crazy.
It's incredible watching these guys race. Like, I don't get to see the racing from this perspective. I rarely get to see the men's fleet race because, I'm racing in the women's fleet. Yeah, these guys are absolutely flying.
They are sending it. Now, remember, we are in the grand final. This is what we are seeing here in the lead at the minute. It's looking like Freddie, closely followed by Luke, Johan, and then Tom Rouveney. Now, in this grand final, it is the first to 2 wins. Already, Luke van Opzeeland and Johan So are on 1 win apiece as they came in first and second. And it is a fight of who can get those second wins. Is it Freddie? He's looking in a place to do it at the minute.
Yeah, he's done really well. He did a really nice tack there. Luke was the first one to tack off from the left side of that course, so from the shoreline. And it's going to be interesting who comes ahead here. Luke's really accelerated and got ahead.
It's looking so close. Whatever is going on at the minute. Tom just dropping out a little bit, maybe losing a little bit of distance, coming out up on starboard on the right side of our screens, but it is so close between these top 3 riders at the minute. All Luke has to do is just win 1 race to become the 2026 European champion along with Johan So, but if Freddie gets it, he continues his quest to become that European champion. It is Luke van Opzeeland, who's had an insane upwind, has certainly got a lead here.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the benefits of going out to the shore on that upwind is that you only have to do 1 tack for that upwind leg. However, these guys tack so well, the losses aren't as huge as they used to be. So it's kind of like it's not as detrimental as it used to be. By going to the left purely just to minimize maneuvers, it doesn't pay as much as it used to.
It is still Luke in the lead. Johan deciding to split off a little bit here. Here is a great shot of what we are seeing. Our top 3 riders in this grand final. The top two coming into today of Johan So and Luc van Opsieland, both already on one win as a reward of their performance earlier on in the week. If either of them win this grand final, they will be crowned the European champion. But Freddie is still pushing all the way to the very end. He's in second place.
Oh, wow. Look at them working hard. So Freddie's gone for a tight lay line on that bottom mark there.
Yeah.
But so he's got to work really hard to get down to it. But he also doesn't want to lose too much speed that Johan can catch up to him. But it looks like he's done a good job. And now we're just on to the final reach here.
Final reach between this European Championship title. It is looking good for Luc van Opsieland. He came into today wearing the yellow bib and he comes out of it also wearing that yellow bib and out with a European Championship title. Luc van Opsieland, our champion, and it was a big battle for that second place as well.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who was able to nab it at the last minute there. We'll just have to wait for confirmation. But yeah, it looks like the guys really pushed it on that reach. Yeah, Johan's a great PWA sailor as well, known as the Beast. He's great on a reach. So Freddie did a really good job of just holding on there. Yeah, Luke's had a fantastic regatta, so it's great to see him able to execute in the medal series.
He's had a very, very good competition so far. As we're seeing, he came in wearing that yellow bib and he's coming out, continuing with that.
Yeah.
With the trophy.
Hey, this is a bit of a throwback to the last Euros, is it not? We'll see what his interview's like this time.
Yeah, right on, right on. A amazing performance from him there. Luc van Opsieland is crowned our 2026 European champion.
So it looks like Freddie was able to nab that second. So congratulations to him. That's a huge day for him.
Huge.
Again to Johan and again to Tom. That's a fantastic top four. Everyone today in the men's medal series sailed really well.
Insane work from each and every one of those riders. It is now over for the men. The competition has come to an end for the men, and we have Luc van Opsieland crowned our European champion. But do not go anywhere, as we have the women's grand final coming up very soon.
Yeah, it's crazy the pace that's been going on here. Like, we had a few generals, and now we're at the end. We're about to do the grand finals. So we're just going to have a look at the highlights while we wait for the girls to get underway. Yeah, we'll just have a little bit debrief of what we just saw.
Incredible work. Now here it is. There was that grand final, the start of the grand final. Freddie Poloni certainly took an early lead within that, well, at that bottom mark, kind of a midway lead. Incredible performance from Freddie there. Johan So in that second. Tom going out onto the right, but look at Luke at that bottom mark. He was actually in third or fourth place, and by the upwind, he was in first.
Yeah, so I believe Luke made some really good gains by being the first one to tack on that upwind. He just got that lay line perfect. Yeah.
He got it really perfect. A big touchdown from him there, but he managed to save it really, really well and hold that lead all the way towards that finish. He won the European Championship last year, so he was defending his title, and defending he did, as he is now the 2026 European Champion.
Yeah, Luke absolutely dominated that race. He's, as I said previously, had a fantastic regatta, so he's probably pretty stoked.
I think he must be pretty stoked. Hopefully, anyway.
Blame him.
Yeah, right on. I think, well, he was sat on his board. I think that just looked like, you know.
He was working hard that whole regatta, so he probably needed a second, whole regatta and whole race. So he probably just needed a second to breathe and then work out what's happened.
Yeah, right on, right on.
Okay.
Well, we are still in with mega action. Around 2 minutes 30 to go until this grand final.
Yes.
This other grand final will be done.
So we've got the women's grand final now. We have 2 new sailors who've entered the chat. They're not new to us because they've been extremely dominant this whole week. We've got Amy Bright from New Zealand and we've got Tamar from Israel. So this is very exciting. Tamar has been in a league of her own this week. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch her race this. And Amy as well has just had a standout performance. Yeah, I think this is going to be really exciting.
Really exciting. It is definitely going to be. We have under 2 minutes to go now until this next start. Who will be coming out on top? So within this race, who do we have? Who do we have? We have our overall leader coming through in this competition on our screens at the minute, wearing that yellow bib. It is Tamar Steinberg, as you said. We also have coming in second place from the previous days, Amy Bright.
Yeah, a New Zealander.
Right
Again.
on.
A non-Euro, but hey.
Going well, though.
Yeah, mate,
just
she's
showing.
absolutely smashing it.
Insane.
Yeah, it's great to see. She'd be loving this. It's great to see this. I hope she's enjoying it out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I saw her earlier in the week when there was no wind. She was actually surfing. So you can't get these riders off the water, can you? They're just
Honestly.
loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah. It's hard to, like, in a place like this, it's hard to stay away from the water.
Yeah, right on. I'm having a hard time staying away from the water at the minute. But the water is pretty chilly, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've spent a bit of time in England recently, so the water there's freezing. So my scale is a bit skewed at the moment. But yeah, some of the riders have been complaining that it's on a bit of the cold side, especially compared to the air temperature. But yeah, it's quite refreshing, to be fair.
Refreshing, I bet, after working so hard
Exactly.
within these races. So we have our top 4 in the grand final, racing it out already on 1 win. We have Amy Bright and Tamar Steinberg. On no wins so far, it is Pilar Lamadrid and Shahar Tibi who have qualified. Had an amazing medal race series so far. It is the first to 2 wins. Here is the start up that top, and we have Tamar Steinberg in the middle yet again with a great start. We saw her in the previous race having a good start as well. Is Pilar Lamadrid. She's certainly had the experience to have some good starts so far and executed it again. She certainly has.
Yeah, it looks like Pilar really accelerated just a little bit earlier than the other girls, which allowed her to boost out below Tamar and Amy, who were starting closer to the committee boat on that start. Yeah, and it's worked well. She's coming into this reach mark here. I believe she'll round in second. Amy's doing a good job at holding on. She's on that higher lane. So on the downwind, she really has the potential to go for the roll here and force Peter to jibe off if she needs to.
In the
order to get
lead.
clear air.
Yeah, right on. I mean, they're all pretty. I mean, there's only 4, so it's slightly different racing to normal, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, even watching it, it's like, I feel like we're missing people. I'm looking at the shots and I'm like, oh, what's going on in the background? But yeah, so we've just got the 4 riders here. Tamar's put in a lot of effort at the beginning of that downwind to really get that inside lane. So that just allows her to control that jibe point at the front here. So we've got Pilar going for the jibe as well. There we go. Tamar's gone. So she's going to lead the girls into the gate there. She's still between them and the mark, but Amy's working hard to accelerate. So is P. Yeah, exciting times. Again, the swell's still there. Oh, P's doing a really good job here. I'm just trying to soak down below Tamar.
She's on that wave, though. It's looking like she's on the same wave just off the back of it, though. So she's definitely going to get a boost on here. Top 3 riders so far within this grand final. Pilar Lamadrid is certainly in amongst of it here. Could she take the lead off of Tamar here? It's looking very close indeed. And there is the bottom gate. And both rounding out on starboard. But again, probably less than a second here. We saw Pilar Lamadrid do this in the previous race as well. Pump so hard, try to get a load more angle. She's got the angle, maybe not quite the speed at the minute, but it's all about that balance of speed and angle.
Yeah, it's that balance. Like, unfortunately, we saw Amy there. She fell victim to just kind of sliding off the back of a wave there. So we saw her pumping really hard, but she couldn't get the speed on the board in order to accelerate and use the wave for its depth. And so that resulted in her rounding that mark kind of semi-planing. So she's had to absolutely send it off low to regain that speed and head out to the shoreline. We've got all the girls heading to the shore together. So picking this ley line is going to really decide who comes into this top mark ahead. You know, so we've had P do a really good job at fighting hard to get pump high and get to get ahead of the girls, to get higher than the girls ahead of her, you know, to try and give her some control in this tacking point. Here we go. We've got the first tack of the day.
Here's the moment.
Oh my gosh, that was a
look,
beautiful tack.
Both of those tacks, absolutely perfect. They really couldn't have got it
That
any
was
better.
really nice.
Both our top two, Tamar Steinberg and Pilar Lamadrid, and it's looking like Pilar Lamadrid is still working so hard.
It's going
She's
to be
taking the
interesting
lead.
here. So we've got Tibi as the lowest one, but she might be perfectly on lay line. She's working hard. If she makes this lay, she'll be ahead, and it will be great.
If she makes this lay, she's going to slay.
Yeah.
Look at that. Game on, game on.
There we go.
She is certainly in that lead. She's gained that extra little bit of height there. That work at that bottom mark has definitely paid off here, as she is definitely in that lead now. I think Tamar is slightly upwind of her, so still in a bit of a
So she's
tricky
just,
position.
She's just falling into the dirty air of the girls now. Unfortunately, that is the risk when you go for a tight lay line. You do have to kind of sail up into the girls that have gone a little bit further and tacked. Just because you have to slow down a bit to point a higher angle. But hey, look, she's still fighting. She's still in the mix. You know, this is the grand final. She could still win. She could still become European champion, and she could still end up on the podium in third. Honestly,
Incredible. But what is also incredible is Pilar Lamadrid. She came into this medal race series in 9th place overall, and she is now leading the grand final. She needs to get 2 wins. So not only does she need to win this race, she needs to win another race to be able to become that European champion. But she's in a very good position for it at the minute. But here comes Tamar Steinberg. She came into today leading, so she is already on 1 win. This is a battle for a European Championship title. Look at this. Tamar Steinberg definitely getting a little bit lower. Where is this lay line, though? It's all about this moment.
Yeah, so P jibed first there, so she had to work really hard to come out of that jibe with speed. Tamar did the jibe second, but it allows her to kind of turn up on the exit, gain a bit more speed, and really make Pilar's life a little bit more difficult.
She's done it, though. She's done it. Tamar Steinberg is now back into the lead. All she needs is 1 more win to become the 2026 European champion. But Shahar is straight back in amongst of it here.
They're taking it to the boat. They're taking it to the boat. Here we go.
It is a drag race all the way towards this finish. But it is Tamar Steinberg who is staying cool, who is staying calm. Will she be able to hold it all the way to the finish? Shahar Tibi is right behind her. Again, not even a board length separating them. And it is... Tamar Steinberg couldn't quite see on that angle, but it was very close, whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to get that confirmation because, yeah, that angle was a tricky one, but I think Tamar might have got it.
Tamar Steinberg is, I think she thinks she's got it because she dropped her sail and did a bit of a cannonball out the front of the board into the water. I think Tamar Steinberg managed to hold it all the way to the line. We will wait for confirmation, but it looks like. Well, yeah. Tamar Steinberg,
she looks
our
stoked.
2026 European champion, is crowned.
There we go. We've got the girls celebrating together. Honestly, they really took it right to the end there.
Literally to the end.
Look at that.
Crazy.
Honestly. Yeah, it wasn't over until it was over.
Literally. That is absolutely mega stuff.
Yeah.
We have completed the grand final. Both leaders coming into today have retained their spots and come out with the European Championship titles. Huge shout out to Tamar Steinberg, who has become the 2026 European champion.
There we go. So we've got the final positions for the girls. Yeah, honestly, a great day from Pila. She sailed every single race in this elimination medal race day. And, mate, she was still fighting to the very end. Like, solid work.
All the way to the very end. Last year in the World Championships, she come in second. So, hopefully, well, she will be wanting even more, and she's started it well at the European Championships with a win. Will she be able to do the double of the Euros and the Worlds? We'll have to find out later on, but now is her time to enjoy.
She's just sailed fantastically this week. She's so young, but she's just been able to keep calm, cool, and collected. We saw in that race there, she was able to execute under pressure. She showed, maturity above her years. She's just done fantastically.
Incredible work of Shahar Tibi and Tamar Steinberg, both on their coach boat with their coaches. They are celebrating this moment. They have worked so hard towards this, loving windsurfing, loving this sport, and coming together to push the limits, and they have found the top. They really have found the top.
Yeah, let's have a look back at that race while those guys are celebrating. Oh, what a day.
Incredible. And there's the highlights. We saw Pilar.
Fantastic start from her. She really got that acceleration. She got the jump on the girls by just stepping on the pedal just a little bit before them and boosting off that start.
Just a little bit. I think that was where Amy Bright just dropped out a little bit there, unfortunately.
It's just that honestly, like, one little whoopsie, one little mismanagement of this swell, and it's costly, especially in this fleet. Like, look at that tack there. That's beautiful.
Incredible.
And also, that tack, she had to be really switched on because P was on the inside of her, and she had to make sure that she was going to be able to avoid her.
Incredible. Really, that was just an epic race. Those top three were all moving around constantly because they were all just pushing to the max, doing what they possibly could to gain, to defend. And there it was towards that final reach. It was Tamar Steinberg taking the win, being crowned the European champion.
Yeah, solid work from the girls there. Fantastic day on water. I think we've gotten so lucky that this breeze came in. The race committee did a great job at just getting everyone out there and boshing off some races. Great to see.
Certainly so. I mean, there were some people who weren't actually that optimistic about today, but no reason to be pessimistic because the conditions were delivered. The sun has been shining, the wind has been blowing. It has been awesome conditions out here. It's been gusty, it's been shifty, it's been tactical, it has been exciting, and thank you so much for joining us. How's it been, Sammy?
Oh, it's been great. I think that was just that was a great way to end the regatta. I was a bit pessimistic. I was a bit worried we weren't going to get the racing done. But everyone delivered today, and that was great racing to watch. Fantastic way to wrap up the week.
It has been epic. So thank you to you guys tuning in, watching this competition, watching this medal race series. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we have now crowned our 2026 European champions, Luke van Opsieland and Tamar Steinberg. If you want to watch any of the replays, any of the footage throughout this week, make sure you check out the previous live replays, the live streams, and also check out the Instagrams for also the latest updates, and also the website for all the results, all the information from this competition, and also future events. We'll hope to see you there. I'm Rafty Reed.
And I'm Sammy Costin, and that's our 2026 European Championships.
Wicked. See you soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.